Hey everyone, so I'm just going to do a quick video review on the 2019 Sierra Denali 1500. This color is the White Frost Tricoat. So as you can see, this is that premium color. That's an additional $9.95. A lot of the changes here are cosmetic. You can see the wheel wells, which are a lot different than the standard round that we've seen in the past. The step bumper is still the same, and then the biggest addition in the back is that dual exhaust along with the multi-pro tailgate. With that being said, there's also a bunch of other different features as well, and as we move on, you can kind of see those body lines are kind of the new redesign for 2019, going all the way from the back down to the front where the Denali logo ends. This model is not the Ultimate, but it does include the multi-pro steps, as the Ultimate package includes. The reason I opted out of that was because I did not want the 22-inch wheels. Based on Michigan roads being so crappy, decided having a little bit more tread is probably a little bit better of an idea. So these are the factory 20s on the factory Bridgestone Dueler ATs. So considering they dropped the Wrangler SRAs for this generation, I'm pretty excited because I was not a fan of those tires. So that's good news. Now looking at the front of the truck, you can see a lot larger front profile there. The grille is a little bit differently shaped as well, and then you have vertical fog lights, whereas before they were a little bit different. So moving on, we'll zoom in a little bit to the mirrors. It does have the spotlight as the previous models had, along with a camera on the bottom for both sides. So that kind of helps with the 3D camera angles along with the surround vision. And then this one is not the diesel, it's the 6.2, but it does have the DEF port here for the 3-liter diesel that's coming out later on. So the bed, it does kind of operate the same way. There is an automatic tailgate function with the bottom button. I'm not going to go too much into this because everybody's seen this and there's a lot of other videos, but you do have the load stop that's available. And then also, if you hit the top button, the rest of the tailgate drops and then allows you to drop a step. Now, I have seen accessories available that include speakers for these positions along with LED lights. So it kind of seems like it's going to be a good tailgating rig in that aspect. And then there is the pull bar as well, as most companies have. And then if you just wanted to fold the top portion down, pushing that top button allows this to drop for a work surface you could use for, or also just to set things across the bed. And then again, a 2-tier loading system. So if you wanted to put something on the bottom and then have a piece, you could do that and then kind of store that way. It is interesting. I don't know if the uses are going to fit my lifestyle because I really don't probably need it, but it's interesting to have. And then you can see that camera up here. That is actually the camera for the mirror, the camera mirror that comes on the Cadillacs and other models. So looking at the interior, I just got the windows tinted, so there's some emblems on the windows themselves. But looking at that, so these steps do come out when you open the doors, and they do also have the rearward articulation to the back of the bed. So that's pretty standard. Nothing really seems to be different with those. As far as the trim quality, compared to the 2017 that I had, it does feel a lot, I don't know if it feels higher quality, but it definitely looks higher quality. The leather is a lot more porous along with this wood. The claims is that it's actual wood that's porous and not plastic. It does look a lot nicer, in my opinion, compared to the 17 and 18s. And then you have the standard memory seats, folding mirrors, etc., and all those windows. The leather here, it is kind of perforated leather, so it is really comfortable. It is kind of stiff compared to the last generation, but again, I only have 120 something miles on here, so the lack of miles might be part of it as well. And then I do have the GMC branded floor liners instead of the WeatherTech, so these look like they fit pretty well. They go up along the edges nicely, and then this actually has this part. A lot of the other mats kind of cut out here and cut down, so your foot's actually on the carpet. So that was actually a nice add by GM for that. So looking on the inside here, we'll start it up, and you can kind of see the startup profile you got this, which is standard gauge cluster, a little bit differently than the last one. One of the things that I do miss about the last cluster is the themes. So with this one, whatever theme you get is what it is. There are a lot of menus you can go through: fuel economy, speed, trips, fuel range, oil life, etc. The only new thing that they added was the air filter life and then brake pad life, which is pretty interesting. You have the music, you have your navigation that also shows up, and then you also have your phone and your settings menu where you can kind of adjust some other things. But at the home screen, it displays your mileage. It'll display your fuel range along with your top gauges as well. Looking over here, this is the 2-speed transfer case. So this is actually the new mode select button to include tow haul. There is no longer a button on your shifter for tow haul. So to rotate this is where you get these different settings: sport, off-road, and if you notice with tow haul, that battery icon will actually change to your transmission temp. So a lot of people have been asking about that, and that seems to still be a standard feature, which a lot of people actually like. So that's kind of cool. There are a lot of videos that kind of go through each of these drive modes and actually help explain what each one is, and there's even 0 to 60 videos showing the different performance with each one. But this one does have the 2-speed, so the automatic 4 high, 2 high, 4 low. Fog light buttons. This is for the mirrors and also the bed lights. And then you have some brightness adjusters, and then your automatic lights and etc. They also went to an electric parking brake, and they dropped the kick brake, so that's kind of cool. I think they did that earlier as well. And then you can see the HUD controls. So there's actually the adjustment, the information pages, and then the brightness. See if I can get that and zoom in a little bit. So right now I'm just on the miles per hour. See if I can get this to not shake for you guys. I'll go ahead and go through the pages here. So you got your lane assist, you have your compass, your 4-wheel drive, and then your speed. So it is pretty cool. It's a lot brighter without the phone, obviously, as you could imagine. So it is a pretty cool feature. I do enjoy it, and you can turn the brightness all the way down if that's something you're not interested in. The one thing that is awesome is the steering wheel controls. So instead of the buttons, there's this little scroll wheel, and that's how you actually adjust and go through the menus for both this side and for the cruise control, along with your push button start. And then the radio, kind of similar to what the previous version. So you have a home page where you have all your icons here, your user profiles, which is pretty cool. You can actually save your user profile, and then if you get another vehicle, let's say you decide you want to get a 2020 or 2021, you don't want to do all your presets and all your settings again, you can actually save your profile and for different people, and then sign into your new truck, and it will actually download those profiles, so you don't have to keep setting that up every time you get a new vehicle. Settings, CarPlay, nav. Your nav screen's pretty standard. Not much is different with that. Kind of cool. You got keyword and address searching. The screen seems to be a lot more responsive and a lot quicker compared to the previous IntelliLink systems. You have trailering. You have that app. You have an app store, which has things like Spotify, iHeartRadio, news channels, weather, etc. As long as you have 4G in your truck, or the truck will actually connect to a different Wi-Fi network, which is cool. So I was actually able to connect the truck to my home network at home to do some app installation and things like that without actually having the 4G Wi-Fi. So that is cool if you want to do updates over the air. If you have a Wi-Fi network at home or a hotspot on your phone, you can actually connect the truck to it and do it that way. Climate controls, that is adjustable through here. Also the buttons. So as you adjust it here, this will actually switch over to the screen and actually show you that. The home screen is on the very left is kind of like just a generic for everything. So you have your radio, your phone information, and your navigation, where you can actually navigate stuff through here. And then you can click on any of these. You have your presets at the top and all your settings here. The Bose system is, to me, it sounds a lot more improved. It's a lot better sound quality. The bass is a lot cleaner, and then the highs and the treble is really crisp. So I actually have seen a big improvement between the 2017 and this one, which is actually a pretty good thing. So I think that's pretty much it for this. If you guys want a more in-depth video on this, I'm sure they already exist, or let me know and I can kind of look through to see what you guys are asking. I just kind of want to go over some of the features that may or may not have had on the old trucks, just as a informational piece. Heated seats and then cooled seats, standard, and then you have your this is your lane keep assist, parking sensors, auto start stop, which is indicated over there on that left side. You have your tailgate button. This will actually drop the tailgate for you from inside the truck. Flashers, your traction control, a plug switch for your 120. You have your hill descent, and then you have, this is the actual control for the steps. So if you want to leave your steps in, leave them out, disable them so they don't open with the doors, you can do all that there. They move the brake controller to the bottom. This is a micro USB, the new one, the USB, and then you have your standard plug. And also, really cool, they move the wireless charging from the console down into the lower part. So you can actually put your phone here instead of having your arm resting on it like the problem before, and it's a lot better. And then you have 2 cup holders and a very large console with another micro USB, USB and aux adapter. And then you have rear cup holders, and then we'll get to the back in a second. You have your standard double glove box, you have your upper and your lower, and then up top you have your home link system for your garage doors. I did not get the sunroof on this model because I personally leave them closed all the time, so I didn't want to spend $1,000 on it. You have your rear slider control, and then you have your door light control here along with your OnStar. Moving on to the mirror, this is kind of one of the coolest features of this truck. Is you have the standard mirror, but when you flip it, you have that camera that's in the back above the third brake light that kind of shows you the camera view. And what you can actually do is you can use these buttons, you can change the brightness if you'd like. You can also go through and zoom in. You can zoom in 2 times and zoom out 2 times. And then you also can even pan and adjust the mirror, which is kind of interesting. So if you have a trailer or something like that, you can actually lower and raise this camera to best suit what you're trying to do. So this is actually probably one of my favorite features for the truck. In addition to the mirror, we'll go over a little bit of the parking assist. So you can even do this while you're, you don't have to be actually trying to park to do this. You can actually turn on your cameras. You can see that overhead view, which is really nice. And then this is the front camera that you're seeing right now, and then you can actually change this if you want to see the rear. And then this is kind of a more wider view, so this is just zoomed in, and then you can see just the rear there zoomed in as well. You have this one, which is your straight off the back from the top, and then your straight off from the front. And then here is kind of a 360. This is kind of cool, an articulated 3D image of the truck with your surroundings. People have asked, I believe they're all white just to show the contrast between the ground and the truck and your obstacles. I don't think the actual color of your truck is actually going to show on the screen, and from what I've seen, there's no way to actually adjust that. So if you get white, you got lucky. If you don't have white, it's going to show up white. Not a big deal, but this is pretty cool where you can actually see a 3D depiction of what's around you. And then you also have your mirror cameras as well, so you can kind of see off both sides. You have a zoomed in hitched view, and then over here, this is just some options for the lines and for your 360. So if you like this, you have the double lines here, which everybody's come to know. You can switch this for your trailering line if you want to line that ball up with your trailer the best possible. So that's pretty much it for your cameras. Just kind of a quick overview of that. I think that's pretty much it up front. So we will head to the back now to kind of see what's going on in the back. I apologize for any wind as well. South Dakota is always windy, so that's not really something I can control. I'll try to keep the camera out of the wind. You have your doors again. This is a nicer material compared to the last one. Really big doors, and actually my front seat, or my driver's seat, is all the way back. And I have to move it up to drive, and I'm 6 foot, so there's plenty of room, but they have increased the amount of room in the back by 3 inches. So, I'm 6 foot, and there is plenty of room. I can fit a whole hand in here between my knee and the seat. Along with the heated seats for outboard left and right, you have another micro USB and a USB, and then you have a standard plug. And then you have your vents, which is very nice. People have been waiting for this for a while, and that I'm glad they added that in. You have your pull down center rest, and then you got one of these on each side, so you actually have storage behind your seat. So I'll actually open this one up since I'm closer to this one. It's not that deep, but it is kind of good. You could fit a handgun in there, something like that, a smaller purse, something like you know, some winter weather supplies, gloves, hats, etc. If you really wanted to. So that's kind of interesting, kind of cool concept. I mean, I guess it's wasted space in a way if you think about it, so it's kind of intuitive for GM. And then you have your headrest. These kind of fold down and adjust as well. Your seats are the one, you know, easy pull-up seats. These are again, the GM floor liners in the rear as well. They go underneath the carpet here, and then they go all the way up to the front, and there's actually a lip up there. These are really nice. I like these a lot better than the WeatherTechs and the Husky liners. Not only because they match that trim, they do say GM on it, but the actual material, they hold up really well. They're easy to wash. They're givable material. They're not really rigid or anything like that, and they don't warp. So looking at the storage back here, this actually can be removed. People were asking, there are screws that hold this in near the middle, so you can actually remove this tray and add in the bigger, larger plastic container, or you can just not have one at all and just have a kind of a flat floor all the way across. So both these seats, it's a 60-40 split bench. Both these lift up, floor jack, and then also your jack, you know, poles and all that to lower your spare tire in the back. So back seat is significantly improved from what it used to be. I think that's one of the biggest things, is that space, and then those rear vents, which is really nice. One thing I did forget to mention about the back here is they did put in a 120 plug. So you have a full 120 plug back here, 3-prong, with seals, and then you have your lights back here. There are no tonneau covers yet that are available, so I'm waiting for back to release the Revolver X4 cover so that I can actually get that rolling cover. So good amount of tread on these tires. The spare is not the same tire though. They went with a really cheap tire for the spare. Without getting on the ground, they'll kind of try to show you the underneath here a little bit. They did drop the magnetic ride control for 2019, and they switched over to the adaptive ride control, which can be found in the higher trim level Buicks and also GMC. So different shock system. You got your standard banjo case muffler there, and then kind of the drivetrain up there. Let's see what's going on in the front. So really nice, really clean. You got a skid plate here, standard with the Denali. It is plastic, so it's not anything to, you know, go off-roading with. But there is that skid plate that comes on it from the factory. We'll pop the hood really quick as well. But overall, the driving quality of this is a lot better than the 2017 and 2018s that I've driven. The 8-speed previously had some clunking issues, some shifting issues and things like that. This 10-speed is really smooth. I'm really impressed. It actually is a big improvement. The fuel economy, right now my average, it says 19.6, but I've been kind of letting it idle for a long time and things like that. On the highway, if I got the cruise set at 65 or 70, I'm probably getting, you know, 21, 22, and I'm hoping that that kind of goes up as the engine breaks in a little bit. So this is the 6.2. The air ducts and air vents are actually moved a little bit. So on top you have these, you know, these vents here, your battery, your AC, all that. 6.2. Looks like some of those plugs are pretty deep back there, so that might be a little bit hard to reach to actually do some engine work. But again, nobody's really had a chance to see the new 6.2 with DFM or really kind of outline the new 10-speed. So short of that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys for this video. If there's anything else that you want in more detail or anything that you have any questions about, just let me know, drop them in the comments, and I will try to get you guys an answer for that. One of the questions that was asked was if you change your mode to tour mode in your drive settings, does it remember that, or does it change from what you set it to last time? So the answer to that is it always defaults back to tour mode. So if you're in tow haul and you put it in park, actually tow haul might be an exception, I don't want to lie to you guys. If you're towing something, it might actually just leave it in tow haul because it recognizes you have a trailer. But if you put it in sport mode or off-road mode, for instance, it's going to default back to tour mode once you turn it back on. So just kind of, gee whiz information for that. But anyways, thank you guys for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything that you want more information on, let me know and I can get that to you guys. And I think that's all I got. So have a good day. Thanks.